Caitlyn Clark is going to spend all of next season playing in NBA arenas. We've got rival fans being furious that, you know, Caitlyn Clark is that she's getting new arenas, getting moved to new arenas. You've got people saying that they're pushing the fever. Why are they pushing the fever?
Caitlyn Clark isn't just making waves, she's flooding the league. WNBA franchises are practically abandoning their home courts like they've been hit with a fire alarm that says, Caitlyn's coming. Teams like Atlanta, Chicago, Connecticut, Dallas, Las Vegas, and Washington, D.C. are all scrambling to larger venues just to handle the Clark impact. Meanwhile, Angel Reese is probably doom-scrolling, wondering why her name isn't splashed across those massive billboards.
One thing is very clear. The Indiana Fever is America's team. And boy, the haters, by the time this season is over, their heads are going to have exploded already. They're going to be so angry by the end of this WNBA season. I mean, it's going to be hilarious watching the daily meltdown.
Take a moment to absorb this. WNBA teams are willingly leaving behind their cherished home courts to make room for one rookie phenom. This isn't hype. This is history in the making. 6 different franchises are moving their games to NBA arenas, meaning every Indiana Fever road game is now played in a venue with at least 15,000 seats. This isn't about following a trend. It's because Caitlyn Clark has the kind of draw that fills arenas like no one else in the league. While some teams are still playing in what feel like converted gymnasiums, Caitlyn's impact demands NBA-level venues. That's the kind of territory reserved for superstars.
That there are 6 WNBA teams that have moved their games to NBA or NBA size arenas.
Let's not kid ourselves. These aren't just slightly larger gymnasiums. These are full-blown arena upgrades. The Atlanta Dream are stepping up to the State Farm Arena. The Chicago Sky, yes, the same team that once treated Angel Reese like the second coming of Michael Jordan, are now dialing it back with 2 games at the United Center. And it's not for Reese, it's for Clark. Because unless the Indiana Fever are in town, Reese might as well be playing at a local community center. Even the Aces, with their glitz and trophies, are booking the T-Mobile Arena just to prepare for the Fever frenzy.
Caitlyn Clark, the people's champion! Let's get it!
That's a deep one.
Bang!
Just announced that Caitlyn Clark and the Fever will be playing 41 of 44 games this year on national TV. Hey, coming to watch the other girl, right?
Right? Bang!
Teams are moving their games with the Fever to NBA arenas so they can sell more tickets. How about that?
Bang!
Angel Reese attempted a 3 this deep. I think she might dislocate her shoulder.
Bang!
You want some butter with that bread? Butter. Butter.
Butter pecan! Bang!
It's honestly hilarious when you think about it. Just last season, these teams were all acting like Caitlyn Clark was just another rookie. We don't need her, they boasted, chests puffed. The league is fine without her. And now, here we are. The same teams are practically begging for court space big enough to accommodate the Clark crowds. It's not just about rolling out the red carpet anymore. It's like tearing up the road and rebuilding it with gold bricks.
Atlanta Dream moved 1 game to the State Farm Arena. Chicago Sky moved 2 games to the United Center. Home of the Bulls, home of the Blackhawks. In Atlanta, by the way, that's the home of the Hawks. Connecticut Sun moved 1 game to TD Garden. Home of the NBA Celtics. That's going to look really freaking cool on TV.
Special shout out to Connecticut. This franchise doesn't even have an NBA arena nearby. So what do? They pack up and move the whole operation to Boston. Yep, new state, new zip code, new everything, just to make room for Caitlyn Clark. That's not just special treatment, that's royalty-level hospitality. Can you imagine if Angel Reese tried to pull the same stunt? They'd probably laugh her all the way to some suburban middle school gym.
We're now at the stage where Caitlyn Clark is probably going to be responsible. I'm not joking when I say this. For like games where she plays in are probably going to be responsible for like 30% of the attendance in the WNBA.
And it doesn't stop there. The Dallas Wings and Washington Mystics are also moving their Clark matchups to larger venues, complete with extra seating, luxury suites, and, let's face it, bigger profit margins. This isn't a coincidence, it's strategic planning. When Caitlyn Clark rolls into town, it's not just a game, it's an economic boom. One ESPN analyst even dubbed her the WNBA's walking GDP boost. He meant it as a joke, but honestly, the numbers speak for themselves.
There are teams that are going to average 3,000 fans at games, but have 17,000 fans when Caitlyn Clark shows up to town with the Fever.
Now, let's check in on the critics. The same ones who were screaming from the rooftops that Clark was overhyped have suddenly gone awfully quiet. Why? Because their arenas are packed, their jerseys are flying off the shelves, and their TV ratings are through the roof. All thanks to the player they once claimed didn't matter. And as for Angel Reese, she's still stewing over her not-so-unrivaled championship, watching Caitlyn dominate the spotlight, the schedule, and the arenas.
The Phoenix Mercury play in the NBA arena. The Seattle Storm do. There are 13 WNBA teams, 7 already playing NBA arenas. The other 6 are moving their games to NBA arenas versus the Fever. You can't acknowledge that she is the needle mover. Yeah.
Before Caitlyn Clark hit the WNBA, the average game barely drew 6,000 fans, about as many as you'd see at a high school pep rally. But Clark? She's effortlessly filling 20,000-seat arenas like it's no big deal. That's not just an increase, that's triple the usual turnout. These fans aren't there for the home team, they're showing up for her. WNBA execs are practically falling over themselves, openly admitting they'd give up home court advantage just to cash in on the Clark phenomenon. That's not hype. That's a walking ATM and sneakers.
I believe there was actually a debate on who was Rookie of the Year last year. Imagine being that delusional. Bang! People need to understand she saved this league. Powder, there's no TV deals, no ad sponsorships, heck, no shoe deals for you, Angel Reese, no McDonald's money. The league losing millions of dollars each year. She saved them from bankruptcy. Time to be grateful. Bang! 93% of her games on national TV. She's like that. Bang!
Let's talk numbers. WNBA attendance shot up by 48% last season, and unless your math is off, that increase has Caitlyn Clark's name written all over it. Teams aren't just scheduling her games, they're building their entire season around her appearances. The Las Vegas Aces, the same team that snickers whenever Clark's name trends, have quietly moved multiple games to the T-Mobile Arena. Why? Because they know the Caitlyn effect is the real MVP. All the eye rolls and cryptic tweets aside, even they can't deny she's the main attraction.
Now we've got some more information on the games and some perspective. Here we are. Indiana Fever put this out, man, just a few minutes ago. All eyes on us. 41 of our 44 games are on national television.
Now, here's where it gets wild. Caitlyn Clark has secured 41 nationally televised games this season. That's not just more airtime than any other player. It's more than entire franchises have had in years. We're talking ESPN, ABC, CBS, NBA TV. Every network wants a piece of the Clark action. It's a broadcast feeding frenzy, and trust me, no one's settling for leftovers.
The most television games in franchise history, the most national television games in for a single team in WNBA history. How about that?
Last season, the Indiana Fever were basically an afterthought. They were the dusty book collecting cobwebs on the bottom shelf, overlooked and forgotten. But with Caitlyn Clark in the mix, they've transformed into the league's golden child, now the star attraction in every primetime slot. The same team that struggled at the bottom of the standings is now the crown jewel of WNBA coverage. And you know that's stinging players like Angel Reese. For years, they assumed the throne was just waiting for them. But then Caitlyn Clark shows up, shattering records, drawing massive ratings, and showing off a range that leaves everyone in the dust. Suddenly, it's her show, and the spotlight's all hers.
Also, Complex has put out their 10 most influential women in sports. And Angel Reese is not going to like this because, well, she got beaten by Caitlyn Clark for number 1.
Caitlyn Clark did it again. As if shattering records on the court wasn't enough, she just scored another huge victory without even having to tie up her sneakers. Complex just crowned her the most influential female athlete, solidifying her place as the biggest name in sports at the moment. And the best part? She edged out Angel Reese, who, predictably, isn't taking it too well.
So, it's been hard for me, but adjusting and just kind of have that mindset of just moving on has been something I've tried to give myself a little bit of grace.
That's right. While Clark is out here racking up awards, growing the game, and making history, Reese is busy scrambling for excuses, pretending like this honor doesn't matter. But let's be honest, if Reese had won, we'd never hear the end of it. Instead of celebrating someone else's success, she's doing what she does best, downplaying Clark's accomplishments while spending more time on TikTok than in the gym.
Announcing the top 10 most influential athletes right now. These athletes are reshaping culture. Caitlyn Clark, check. Breaking records. Caitlyn Clark, check. Proving their impact goes far beyond the game, from sold out arenas to game-changing moves in business and fashion. These women are leading the way. If this is a top 10 list, then sitting on the top of that list, there's only one right answer. There's only one correct choice.
Let's set the record straight. This isn't just about an award. It's about who the fans are really backing. One player has everyone tuning in for her mind-blowing talent, and the other, well, she's famous for making headlines for everything but basketball. Some see this as a rivalry, but let's be real. It's not much of a competition when one player is actually winning.
What is your stance on that?
So my whole thing was like, when I got drafted, number 7. So I'm like, cool. Like, the pressure is not even on me because I'm drafted 7, so the pressure shouldn't be up there. So I'm like, all right, cool. I could just hoop. So I'm like, all right, cool.
It's because you started killing it.
Well, yeah.
And they're like, oh,
I'm still a rookie. I'm still figuring it out. Trying to figure things out.
All right, let's break it all down. Why did Clark take home this award? What makes her influence so undeniable? And most importantly, why is Angel Reese acting like she got robbed? We're about to dive into the numbers, the impact, and the hilarious aftermath.
And Angel Reese is not going to like this because, well, she got beaten by Caitlyn Clark for number 1. Yeah, so we're going to take a look at that. I think it's hilarious. I will tell you right off the bat, I don't believe there's a singular world, where Angel Reese should be ahead of Simone Biles either. There, I put that out loud.
Caitlyn Clark didn't just break records, she obliterated them. 62 records shattered in a single season. Let that sink in. This isn't just about making history, it's about rewriting the entire record book. No player in WNBA history has ever dominated like this, and we're only in year 1.
My expectation is to be one of the best players in the world one day. I wouldn't expect anything less than that.
More history for the FIBA rookie.
At this point, continue to be myself, and I think a lot of good will come from that.
But here's where it gets even crazier. Clark didn't just put up insane numbers, she actually changed the trajectory of an entire franchise. Before she showed up, the Indiana Fever were stuck at the bottom of the league, barely staying relevant. Then Caitlyn Clark walked in, and boom, they made the playoffs for the first time in nearly a decade. That's not just individual greatness, that's team-changing dominance.
The woman who's been putting women's basketball on her back for the better part of 3 years now. These athletes are reshaping culture. Caitlyn Clark has men watching women's basketball.
Let's talk off-court impact, because this is where Clark leaves the so-called rivals in the dust. WNBA merch sales shot up 500% in her rookie season. Yes, 500%. Jerseys, t-shirts, memorabilia, everything was flying off the shelves. Meanwhile, Reese's jerseys just sitting there collecting dust while Clark's sold out in minutes.
This is a phenomenon. Caitlyn Clark is a phenomenon.
This isn't just about jersey sales. Clark's influence is shaking up the whole league's economy. Viewership is through the roof. Arenas that once struggled to fill seats are now packed, but only when Clark's in town. Teams that used to beg for fans are now scrambling to expand seating to keep up with the demand.
So that's what they got on her. Caitlyn Clark, she ran away with number 1. I don't think that should surprise us. She came away with number 1. Caitlyn Clark is redefining the entire landscape of women's sports. That's right. Her dominance on the court has shattered outdated narratives about women's sports, proving that women's basketball can be just as marketable and widely watched as men's. But the Caitlyn Clark effect goes far beyond her performance. It's reshaping the entire sports landscape. Clark's impact is undeniable. Her presence alone boosted WNBA attendance by 105%.
Even sports economists are stunned by Clark's impact. Thayer Lavielle, a top name in sports business, called her a lightning rod for women's basketball, comparing her to Michael Jordan for how she's boosting the game's visibility and value. And honestly, she's spot on.
Because when we went to the WNBA games and we went to go watch Caitlyn Clark when they came to play the Washington Mystics in DC, and they shut that they had to move the game from the Washington Mystics WNBA arena to the actual Washington arena where the Wizards played, and it was packed. It was sold out for people to see Caitlyn Clark. That did not happen the day before that when they went to Chicago to play Angel Reese.
Let's talk real numbers. Clark's rookie season alone raked in a jaw-dropping $36 million for Indianapolis. Just one player did that, and it's only the start. Experts predict her rise will boost women's basketball's value by $1.6 billion over the next 3 years. Yes, billion with a B.
I'm going to look at this the way I did with Michael Jordan. Now, she's not the Michael Jordan of her sport as far as athleticism, playing, dominating. But Asia Wilson is the best player in the game. Not even a debate. But I'm talking about value now. Value to a franchise, value to a league, getting your team in the playoffs. They had the number one pick. They were the worst team last year. And there is value that I can attach to that.
So what does all this mean? Caitlyn Clark isn't just a superstar. She's a movement. She's doing more than dominating on the court. She's reshaping the entire league's future, bringing in new fans, generating massive revenue, and making women's basketball must-watch TV.
I'm talking about value. Michael Jordan was the most valuable player every single year because of what he meant to his team and what he meant to the league. And, oh, by the way, winning 6 titles. Can't argue with that. Caitlyn Clark may not win titles. Las Vegas is still a great team. But the fact that she is doing what she's doing and at a very high level, you know, it's now commonplace where she'll go for 26 and 12. I mean, those are great numbers for any player, no matter how long you've been in the league.
Meanwhile, Angel Reese is still sitting there trying to figure out why she wasn't named most influential. Maybe if she spent more time working on her game and less time complaining on social media, she'd get that this is about sports.
This is about sports. This is about athletic ability. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at Caitlyn Clark's game, who's very reminiscent of a Steph Curry based on her range and shooting the three, plus everything else she does. And then you look at Angel Reese, stop it. Stop it. There's a dude on the internet who cracks me up. Or on TikTok. He's put together a shitload of Angel Reese clips. And it'll say Angel Reese part 36. And it goes, Angel Reese going up for another layup. She misses. Bang! And I mean, dude, it's the funniest shit. And my whole thing is this, dude. She just seems as uncoordinated as a baby giraffe.
Caitlyn Clark's journey to these awards might seem like a done deal, but the real story is way bigger. Remember Angel Reese? She was hyped as Clark's biggest competition, with the media pushing this so-called rivalry. It was framed as the ultimate showdown, a season-long battle that had fans hooked. But let's be real, was it ever really close?
Saying Angel Reese is better than Caitlyn Clark is saying Rodman was better than Michael Jordan, or Ben Wallace was better than Kobe, or even Andre Drummond was better than LeBron. And I shouldn't have to point out that Angel Reese is actually a poor defender.
From the jump, the media pushed the narrative of 2 rookies battling for WNBA supremacy. But as the season went on, the gap became painfully clear. This wasn't a duel of equals. It was one player dominating the league, while the other spent more time in the headlines than in the box scores.
Oh, Reese! 3-on-3, part 13, let's get it!
Classic long 2.
Bang!
PSA, no rims or backboards were harmed during the filming of this video. But viewers are encouraged to look away.
Bang!
What?
Bang!
I heard her say that she might sit out if the WNBA doesn't pay her what she deserves. I say $1 million for every missed layup is fair.
Bang!
They are stat petting queen properly. Fair wages for all. I repeat, fair wages. Remember, they're coming to see her.
Long 2, butter pecan. Bang!
Then came Rookie of the Year and First Team All-WNBA, and that's when it all came to light. Clark didn't just win, she ran away with it. The so-called competition wasn't even close. As for Reese, she wasn't exactly graceful in defeat. Instead of congratulating Clark, she hit social media to claim Clark didn't deserve the honor. Imagine losing a race by a mile and then demanding a recount.
But her attention, her notoriety is based off Caitlyn Clark. Because she wins the national title, first thing she does, she mocks Caitlyn Clark. And then she doesn't even celebrate with her teammates. So she's made it personal with Caitlyn Clark. Then she's played off of that.
But here's the real kicker. Clark's success isn't about trophies or petty rivalries. She's not out here chasing awards. She's revolutionizing the WNBA. Her impact goes far beyond basketball. She's expanding the game, shattering attendance records, and bringing in millions of new fans. Meanwhile, Reese is stuck trying to convince everyone she belongs in the same conversation as Clark. The difference? Clark is changing the game. Reese is just trying to catch up.
Check this out. Wow.
Angel Reese just experienced one of the most humiliating games of her career, and frankly, it was tough to watch. She wasn't just playing poorly, she was a complete train wreck.
She has her worst professional pro game.
Sloppy turnovers, absurd mistakes, and a reckless play style that seemed more fit for the WWE than the WNBA. Angel Reese stepped onto the court brimming with confidence, acting like she was about to take over the game. But reality quickly set in. Nafisa Collier wasn't intimidated. She stayed composed, let her game do the talking, and made sure Reese had a front row seat to her own downfall. And the best part? Collier had the last laugh with a cold-blooded game-winning shot, leaving Reese shocked, confused, and completely exposed. All that trash talk? Useless. All those cheap shots? Wasted. This wasn't just a loss for Angel Reese, it was a full-blown meltdown. Trust me, we're about to break down every cringeworthy moment that proves she's not as untouchable as she thinks. Picture this. You're a basketball star, striding onto the court with complete confidence, ready to take control. The lights are bright, the crowd is buzzing, and your team is counting on you. This is your moment. The game is set, the stakes are high, and fans are expecting a performance they'll never forget. But instead of showcasing your skills, you become the star of your own blooper reel. That's exactly what happened to Angel Reese in a recent unforgettable game.
Angel Reese with what looks like a very dirty move under the basket. Check this out. I mean, wow.
Angel Reese didn't just have a rough game. She had one that people will remember for all the wrong reasons. From turnovers to missed shots, from trash talk that backfired to an embarrassing finish. This performance is one that fans and critics will be talking about for a long time. In fact, if there were a Hall of Fame for self-inflicted sports disasters, this game might just earn Angel Reese its own special wing.
Angel Reese was on Nafisa Collier, giving her a bunch of frustrating bumps, and at the end of the game, the Lunar Owls does come away with the dub.
Now, let's dive into it. Reese stepped onto the court with all the swagger you'd expect from a star player. She walked in like she owned the place, chest out, full of confidence, and ready to put on a show. She was talking trash before the first whistle even blew, making faces, taunting opponents, and acting like she was about to deliver a career-defining performance. The energy was there, but the execution? That was nowhere to be found.
I mean, Angel Reese is out there looking like a UFC fighter.
It didn't take long for things to start unraveling. Right from the tip-off, it was clear that Reese was more focused on putting on a show than actually playing effective basketball. Rather than sticking to the fundamentals, she was too busy playing for the cameras, throwing up wild shots, making risky moves, and trash-talking the opposing team. But confidence without substance is just arrogance, and Reese quickly spiraled out of control. Her bravado turned into visible frustration, which only fueled her recklessness. One moment, she was showing off flashy footwork. The next, she was fumbling the ball like it was radioactive. You could see it on her face. She knew things weren't going her way, but instead of adjusting, she doubled down on the chaos. If there was ever a time to play smart, disciplined basketball, this was it. Instead, she turned the game into a personal highlight reel of what not to do on the court.
It looked very intentional, everything that is happening with the Unrivaled League, because all of this stuff transpired, like I stated, just 4 to 5 hours after it was announced that Super Lunescu was quitting the league.
Wow, did it backfire in spectacular fashion. With every mistake, she got sloppier, forcing plays instead of letting the game come to her. Rather than proving she was the dominant force she claimed to be, she became the main attraction for all the wrong reasons. By the time halftime hit, the only ones entertained were the fans watching her unravel in real time. Now, let's talk numbers, because they don't lie. Reese had 7 turnovers. Yes, 7. And we're not talking about minor slip-ups. These were, did she really just do that? Moments that made fans cringe and laugh all at once. One of the most cringe-worthy moments came when she threw the basketball straight at the backboard and then, brace yourself, rebounded her own pass.
Angel Reese rebounded her own pass. Guys, I'm dead. I saw this and was like, this can't be real.
Yes, you read that correctly. She passed the ball to herself. Fans watching at home couldn't believe their eyes. It was the kind of mistake you'd expect from a middle school player, not a professional athlete. It was as if she had a sudden identity crisis and thought she was playing handball instead of basketball. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, she followed it up with another disaster, a completely unnecessary no-look pass. The problem? There was no one there to catch it. The ball sailed out of bounds like it had somewhere more important to be. Even her teammates seemed baffled by what she was trying to do. Maybe she was auditioning for a comedy skit instead of leading her team to victory. It was like she thought she was on a Harlem Globetrotters show, but forgot the part where you actually have to be good at the tricks.
The Lunar Owls rushed the Rose BC, and Angel, well, she did some rather interesting things on the court.
And it wasn't just those 2 moments. Reese made sure to showcase a full range of turnovers, dribbling straight into defenders. Check. Getting stripped because she wasn't paying attention? Check. Passing to a teammate who wasn't even looking? Double check. At one point, it felt like she was playing for both teams, handing the ball to the opponents like it was a holiday gift. It was as if she was in an internal competition. How many different ways could she give the ball away? Mission accomplished. 7 turnovers in a single game is bad enough. But the way she did it, legendary, just not in a good way. But turnovers weren't the only problem that night. Reese wasn't just handing the ball off. She was also playing a brand of basketball focused more on brute force than actual skill, which led to yet another chapter in her nightmare of a performance.
Angel was 8 for 16 for 17 points, 10 boards last night. 7 damn turnovers. 7.
She was pushing, shoving, and trying to intimidate everyone in her path, especially her opponent, Nafisa Collier. But Collier wasn't having any of it. While Reese was busy playing the tough girl role, Collier stayed calm, stayed focused, and kept her eyes on the prize. And that's exactly what she ended up winning. It was like watching a chess master face off against someone who thought flipping the board was a legitimate strategy. Spoiler alert, it's not. Reese was out there throwing elbows, body-checking opponents, and making every play feel personal, like she thought the game had turned into a boxing match. But instead of rattling Collier, it only fueled her determination. While Reese was trying to muscle her way through, Collier stayed calm, composed, and completely unfazed by the chaos. Reese, on the other hand, was falling apart. She wasn't just turning the ball over, she was launching some of the worst shots you could imagine. And when I say bad, I mean high school gym teacher bad, airballing in front of a crowd. She kept throwing up wild shots, hoping something would fall, but instead, she kept bricking attempts, missing layups, and handing Collier and her teammates easy chances to take control. It was like watching someone trying to play basketball with their eyes closed, hoping for a miracle.
Most of the fans of the basketball player are fans of the sport of basketball. But yeah, if you guys thought that people weren't going to care, 1.7 million views.
Have you caught the newest training clip from Caitlyn Clark, released by the Indiana Fever? It's absolutely exploded online, amassing nearly 2 million views within just 24 hours. But here's the kicker, Almost immediately, Angel Reese's PR team dropped her own training video. Predictably and humorously, Reese's version fell flat, turning what could have been a great showcase into a total misstep. While Clark's video shines brilliantly, Reese's attempt? Let's just say it's more like fool's gold. Prepare yourself for an engaging and entertaining analysis of these two viral videos. We'll dive into the numbers, explore fan responses, and highlight some over-the-top, misguided efforts by Reese to outshine Clark. Think jealousy isn't a factor? Trust me, this is something you'll want to see. Isn't it amazing how every time Caitlyn Clark does literally anything, the internet goes into a frenzy? Her most recent workout video has everyone talking, and for good reason. Let's dive into this clip that ignited social media, racking up 2 million views in just 24 hours. It's truly gone viral. But what makes this video so noteworthy? It's not merely Clark displaying her skills. It serves as a comprehensive guide to self-improvement.
If you guys saw this workout has gotten a lot of people excited for Caitlyn Clark because she is like directly working on her weaknesses, which I think is a good look, honestly. I think that's a really, really good look for her because, again, when we're seeing somebody working on their weaknesses and not the glamorous weaknesses.
The video highlights 3 primary areas that Clark is concentrating on. First up is ball handling in confined spaces. While Clark is already exceptional with the basketball, she led the league in turnovers last season. This was mainly because opponents weren't accustomed to her extraordinary passes, though her turnover rate improved after the Olympic break. Additionally, she often faces double and triple teams, creating intense ball pressure. By enhancing her ability to maintain control under such pressure, she's directly tackling this challenge. Next, we watch Clark perfecting her mid-range game, and this is a major development. While everyone recognizes her signature three-pointers and her prowess at finishing at the rim, she impressively shot 62% from under 5 feet last season. Her mid-range shot has been the missing link in her offensive toolkit. Opponents are forcing her to take these shots by incorporating moves like the assist float and the pull-up jumper. By strengthening her mid-range skills, Clark is making herself even more difficult to defend. Lastly, the video highlights Clark's dedication to finishing through contact. She's fearless when driving to the basket, but playing in the WNBA means facing intense physicality, whether it's on purpose or not. By replicating game-like situations and building her strength, Clark is gearing up for the hard hits she'll take night after night. Just look at those arms.
She's back in her natural habitat, back in the lab, playing basketball, and it's got to be a scary sight for the rest of the WNBA if she gets even better, because it's not as if she wasn't absolutely phenomenally elite as a rookie and arguably the best player in the league after the Olympic break.
Clark isn't just putting in the workouts, she's directly tackling her weaknesses. This isn't merely about keeping her current performance, it's about taking her game to the next level, and that should send shivers down her opponent's spines. So, what does this mean for the upcoming season? Imagine a Caitlyn Clark who can handle double teams even more effectively, possesses a solid mid-range game to complement her three-point shooting, and consistently finishes strong through contact. Combine that with her limitless shooting range and exceptional court vision that leads to precise quarterback-like passes. It's like granting Superman immunity to kryptonite, along with his flying, heat vision, super speed, and super strength.
So you're starting from a very high place, but as Michael Jordan once famously said, right, the ceiling is the roof. And there really is no ceiling on Caitlyn Clark's game because of her vision. I think the thing that stands out the most to me is her court vision. And when you're able to shoot from deep the way she's able to shoot from deep.
Clark is already at the elite level. She shattered the season assists record and, as a rookie, led the league in three-pointers in a single game. She's also among the top scorers in the league. But she's not stopping there. Clark is aiming to become unstoppable. This isn't just off-season training, it's a bold statement of intent. Get ready, because an MVP season is on the way. Clark isn't merely looking to improve, she's determined to dominate the court.
There is really nothing you can do as a defense but hope the ball doesn't go in the basket. That's the level of greatness that Caitlyn Clark can get to, where the defense's only hope is that she misses.
But there's more to the story. While Clark is hard at work, someone else felt the need to jump on the bandwagon. Trust me, it doesn't quite match her level of commitment. Imagine this. You're Angel Reese's publicist, and you've just witnessed Caitlyn Clark's video go viral. What's your next move? The answer might surprise you and has certainly stirred up the WNBA world. Guess what happened next? Angel Reese's PR team went into full panic mode, rushing to release their own workout video. And let me tell you, it looks like a poor reaction that screams desperation, not dedication.
The lack of, proof that she's been in the gym working on her craft, trying to hone her skills after what can only be described as one of the worst shooting seasons anybody's ever seen in the history of basketball.
Let's dive into Reese's video for a moment. Reese is out there showcasing her ball handling skills and sinking shots. It sounds impressive, right? But there's something just not quite right. It's like watching a cover band attempt to replicate a hit song. The notes are hit, but the passion is missing. Now, let's break down the numbers. Clark's video garnered an impressive 2 million views in just 24 hours, while Reese's is trailing with only 200,000 views in 12 hours. At this pace, Reese would struggle to reach even 500,000 in a full day. That's barely a quarter of Clark's impact. Ouch, that's gotta hurt. But here's what's really getting people talking. Where are the Chicago Sky in all of this? You'd expect Reese's own team to take the spotlight, showcasing their star players' off-season dedication. Instead, we're hearing nothing from the Sky and only seeing a hastily put-together video from Reese's PR team, and let's be honest, nobody's impressed. So, what's the real story behind Reese's training? Let's be honest for a moment, this is the same Angel Reese who struggled with a meager 44.5%, from less than 5 feet and only 39.1% shooting overall from the field. Those are some of the lowest percentages in WNBA history for someone taking that many close-range shots. You'd expect her workout video to concentrate on, actually improving those shots.
When she was literally the most inefficient player within 5 foot in all of the WNBA. Any which way you put it, she shot bad from the field. All right, she's 6'3" and she plays under the basket, and she shot 39.1% from the field.
When she was clearly the least efficient player within 5 feet across the entire WNBA, no matter how you look at it, her shooting from the field was poor. Standing at 6'3" and playing under the basket, she managed only 39.1% from the floor. Instead of focusing on improvement, we're given a highlight reel that prioritizes appearances over addressing genuine flaws. It's all flash with no real substance. This isn't about getting better, it's about maintaining a facade. It seems Reese is more concerned with her Instagram presence than her actual performance stats. But there's more. While Clark is busy transforming her game, Reese has been making headlines on the red carpet, sharing hot takes on podcasts, and complaining about her salary. There's nothing wrong with building your brand, but when your on-court performance is struggling for attention, maybe it's time to rethink your priorities.
No, my rent is more than that. It's 8,000. I'm living beyond my means.
So what do you think about this? Does Angel Reese have a future career in the WNBA? Or is she going to end up being another Instagram influencer who couldn't keep up with Caitlyn Clark?
Brianna Turner has signed with the Indiana Fever per the WNBA transition page. Some depth for the Fever front court. She played for, again, I believe she played for Chicago.
Angel Reese is not handling this well. The moment Brianna Turner turned down the Chicago sky and linked up with Caitlyn Clark and the Indiana Fever instead, Reese was already in her feelings. And, of course, she made sure everyone knew it. "Oh, so this is what we're doing now?" she said, trying to sound playful. But that side-eye and that fake little laugh told the real story. You could practically hear the salt in her voice. Guess loyalty's got an expiration date like some old milk. Classic Angel, always turning everything into a moment. But behind the jokes, you know it stung. And WNBA Twitter, they gobbled it up like free popcorn at a game.
You don't get told no. Like, you're going to get the yeses. You're going to get more yeses than nos, and just being able to know that. So I'm excited for that. I know that's going to come soon.
This wasn't just another free agent making a choice. This was Brianna Turner, all WNBA defensive first team, a proven veteran, someone who could have been the stabilizing force the shaky sky desperately needed, choosing to straight up ditch Chicago and put Angel Reese in her place by heading to Indiana. Turner literally took a pay cut to sign with the Fever, passing up a bigger deal with Chicago, who had the cap space to offer more. And when you're Angel Reese, still out here trying to convince everyone you're the face of the league, but watching players you need to stay with you go play for your so-called rival? Yeah, that hits different. And let's be real, there is no rivalry except in Reese's head.
WNBA free agency is officially underway, Annie. So when you see these names and the options that the Sky have, what do you think that they're cooking up?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because Angel and Camilla are very interesting pieces. And when you're talking about, you know, getting the right players in here, there is intrigue when you have young core pieces like that, because you could be part of developing them and developing towards a title contending season. But the reality is the Sky are still very far from that. And so this year, the focus really has to be on getting players in who are going to bridge that gap between this season and next.
Reese tried to play it cool with the usual social media act, but you could see the cracks starting to show. "Wow, just wow," she tweeted. Short, simple, but we all knew what it really meant. Translation, she was heated. And honestly, who could blame her? First, A'ja Wilson had to watch the Fever assemble what looked like an Avengers-level squad. And now, Angel Reese was getting hit with the same reality. It was like every top-tier free agent looked at Chicago, then at Indiana, and thought, yeah, I'm good. I'll go hoop with Caitlyn.
So, in a kind of a surprising turn of events, the Indiana Fever have made yet another move this offseason, and they have signed Bree Turner to the roster.
Meanwhile, over in Indiana, it was all about celebration. Brianna Turner was welcomed with open arms. Aaliyah Boston, as cool as ever, dropped a tweet. "Let's hoop." Short and sweet, but oozing the kind of confidence that screams, "We know exactly what we're building here." And Sophie Cunningham? You know she was somewhere grinning from ear to ear, probably already imagining the moment she gets to clap back at Angel Reese on the court after a hard foul. This Fever team isn't just stacking talent. They're building chemistry before they've even set foot in the gym.
These are the pieces that Stephanie White and Amber Cox is going after. They're going after ready elite talent, kind of, you know, they know their responsibility. They know what they need to do. You know what I'm saying? They don't really have to do a whole lot of coaching like that, teaching plug-and-play pieces and women that are going to come in and make immediate impact. That's what you want to see from this basketball team. That's what you see from elite teams across the league.
But here's the thing. This goes beyond just a player choosing a team. This is a shift. The WNBA isn't just growing, it's evolving into a spectacle. Players are waking up to the fact that Indiana is the new place to be. And for Angel Reese, it's starting to look like a nightmare. While she's out here trying to sell us on the idea that Chicago's got next, her teammates, and potential teammates, are quietly saying, nah, we're good.
So, lads, this is not great news, for the Chicago Sky, who are a team that obviously, look, they're rebuilding. This is a team that is 100% rebuilding. The problem is they don't own their pick. So if the Chicago Sky run it back, they're probably not making the playoffs next year. Look, I think there's going to be an improvement from Angel Reese. I think it's going to be an improvement from Cardoso. But that team with no Kennedy Carter, it's going to be real tough to get any offensive power.
The offseason's barely started, and it already feels like the Fever won free agency. Angel Reese might need to start recruiting soon, but there's one problem. All the stars are taken. Social media was buzzing with bold takes. Y'all can keep Angel Reese and her missed layups. We've got Caitlyn Clark. The disrespect, loud, ruthless, and honestly, kind of earned. What was Chicago's comeback supposed to be? The Sky's free agency tracker looked more like a missing persons report. Marina Mabrey left mid-season, Kennedy Carter wasn't re-signed, and Diamond DeShields chose Connecticut over Chicago. Now it's just Reese and Camila Cardoso left from their starting lineup. Sky fans were scrolling, wondering, wait, who did we even get? While teams like New York flexed their super team status and the Aces kept their dynasty core, Chicago looked like they were assembling a junior varsity squad.
Fever, it is funny that all these people who hated the Indiana Fever last year is finally coming around to sign with the team. Go figure. Now, I don't know the whole initial thing about this signing, maybe for depth, for defensive purposes, but it is funny to see how what a year make when the Indiana Fever is one of the, not one, but is the top team.
The pain was real. Every time Fever fans posted a lineup graphic, Sky fans had to close the app just to save their sanity. Because what could they even say? Trust the process? That's fine for NBA Twitter. But this is the WNBA. You either build the right way or get left behind. And right now, Chicago looked like they were about to get lapped.
Indiana Fever are officially title contenders. Every day they have something new for us in free agency. And today, it's Miss DeWanna Bonner. Six-time WNBA All-Star and WNBA champ, a veteran in this game, can pretty much do it all. Also an enforcer, nasty defense. Should I continue? We have a new starting five. Caitlyn at the 1, Kelsey at the 2, DeWanna at the 3, Natasha Howard at the 4, and Aaliyah Boston at the 5.
Of course, Angel Reese wasn't about to let her pride take that hit without a fight. She went straight into the underdog speech, the one we've all heard. I thrive when people doubt me, she said. And sure, maybe she does. Maybe she'll come out next season ready to bulldoze every defender in her way. But let's be real. Thriving off doubt is great for an individual, but basketball is a team sport. And right now, her team looks like they're one rolled ankle away from disaster.
Is Angel Reese, did she just run a coach out of town, and is she running a player out of town? Their best shooter out of town? Because Kennedy Carter looks like she's ready to book it out of Chicago.
While Reese is busy talking about proving people wrong, Indiana's out here making moves like they've got a personal vendetta against the whole league. Fever GM Amber Cox and head coach Stephanie White didn't just see potential in Caitlyn Clark. They saw a championship window wide open, and they're diving through it head first. No more, we're rebuilding. No more, give it time. This team is built to win now, and every move they've made this offseason proves it.
What Steph White is doing and what the Fever organization is doing is nothing less than phenomenal, in my opinion. They are taking this young, talented core that they have, with Aaliyah Boston and Caitlyn Clark, and they're adding veteran players that Stephanie White has already worked with Let's talk about that too, and has chemistry with and knows the work ethic of. And they are building this super team, make no mistake about it, that is going to give you instant results.
Natasha Howard isn't just a veteran. She's a champion, a defensive powerhouse who can still drop 20 any night. DeWanna Bonner is a walking bucket and a proven leader who thrives when the pressure's on. Brianna Turner? She's an elite defender, locking down the paint and making sure no one gets easy points. Sophie Cunningham brings the edge, the shooting, and the attitude, exactly what you need when the playoffs get gritty. And Sydney Colson? She's more than just good vibes. She's a seasoned guard who knows how to run an offense and steady the ship when things get chaotic. And here's the kicker. They did all of this without touching their Fab Four of Caitlyn Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Lexi Hull. Together, this isn't just a team, it's an army. Every role is covered: leadership, defense, scoring, depth, and most importantly, chemistry. Caitlyn Clark doesn't have to do it all on her own. She's got a squad that's ready to handle business.
Breaking news came down, so we have to discuss it. This is what we do here. We're talking about the Indiana Fever making yet another move, Alicia, because they're Thanos right now and they're collecting all the Infinity Stones.
Don't forget, Aaliyah Boston is still here. While everyone's focused on Caitlyn Clark, Boston's already an all-star and one of the most dominant young bigs in the league. Pair her with Brianna Turner and Natasha Howard, and you've got a defensive wall. Good luck driving into that paint. With DeWanna Bonner and Sophie Cunningham, Kelsey Mitchell and Lexi Hull get cleaner looks on offense. Stephanie White isn't just collecting talent, she's building a team that fits. Everyone on this roster complements Caitlyn Clark, stretching the floor, defending, moving without the ball, everything she needs to thrive. If teams thought trapping Clark at the logo was tough last season, wait until she's got Mitchell or Bonner cutting, Hull or Cunningham spacing, and Boston, Turner, or Howard punishing inside.
Sydney Colson is a two-time WNBA champion, a true vet, an amazing backup point guard. And anytime that CC or any of the guards need to go to the bench, I mean, Sydney Colson always makes the right call, always makes the right decision. So to pick up a vet, a professional like Sydney Colson, and then you also have a vet like DeWanna Bonner, and you also have a vet like Kelsey Mitchell, and then you have CC and Aaliyah Boston and Lexi.
The rest of the WNBA thought they had time, thought Indiana needed a season or two to figure it out. Wrong. The Fever just hit fast forward on their rebuild. They're not waiting. They're coming now. And for teams like Chicago, that's terrifying. If this team clicks the way it looks on paper, they're not just making the playoffs. They're making a run.
Just trying to give myself some grace because I know I'm not the player that I want to be just yet, but also kind of patting myself on the back, telling myself that I'm still doing great.
Angel Reese can preach underdog mentality all she wants, but that won't win games when Caitlyn Clark's draining threes from the logo and Aaliyah Boston's sending shots into the third row. Chicago might think they can figure it out as they go, but the Fever aren't leaving anything to chance. They've built a team that's ready to win from day one, and that's what's really driving Angel Reese crazy. It's not just Brianna Turner leaving, it's the realization that Indiana is everything Chicago wanted to be: a young core, respected vets, and a front office making smart moves. The Fever are setting the standard, while the Sky? They're just hoping Angel Reese can talk them into relevance.
I'm literally lost for words, knowing what this woman meant to me in such a pivotal point in my life. She was the only person, which is interesting since she's been...
Can't pay some bills, baby. I just hope y'all know, the WNBA don't pay my bills at all. I don't even think that pays one of my bills. Literally. I'm trying to think of like my rent for what I said.
Angel Reese has just demonstrated that being cheap isn't merely a personality trait. It's a deliberate lifestyle choice, and she's embracing it fiercely during her basketball offseason. She decided that a little extra money was worth completely tarnishing her image, prompting her to pursue a bold career path.
I'm a beautiful girl. Like, I'm a beautiful woman. I've been posting pictures in my bikinis. I got a nice body and I work hard for it. And if I want to post a picture in my bikini, I should be able to without being sexualized.
From the very beginning, it was clear that her main ambitions were fame and fortune, no matter where they originated. Just last night, she was spotted at a strip club with Cardi B, sealing a daring modeling contract that left everyone speechless for all the wrong reasons. I've got all the juicy details, so let's jump right in. She's a court queen, executing inspiring plays that even make her detractors take notice. Meanwhile, Angel has been putting in extra hours both on and off the court in an attempt to outshine Caitlyn, but to no avail. Cooper Worth has reported that Caitlyn Clark is joining Jason Tatum and the Cavender twins on Forbes' 30 Under 30 list. Caitlyn Clark is a phenomenon. She led the NCAA in scoring, broke numerous three-point records, and single-handedly propelled Iowa to the finals. The fans adore her, the media praises her, even her competitors secretly hold her in high regard. Now, with her name engraved on Forbes' prestigious list, it's evident that Caitlyn isn't just excelling in basketball, she's excelling in life. Caitlyn Clark's ascent to stardom is one of those tales that seem almost too incredible to believe. At only 22 years old, she's become the face of women's basketball, a record-breaking athlete, and now a Forbes 30 Under 30 honoree. But this achievement isn't solely about talent, it's about perseverance, determination, and an almost supernatural ability to shine when it counts the most. Caitlyn didn't just play basketball, she revolutionized the perception of the game. And yet, amid all her triumphs, one individual has been quietly, or not so quietly, seething Angel Reese.
She wins the national title. First thing she does, she mocks Caitlyn Clark. And then she doesn't even celebrate with her teammates. So she's made it personal with Caitlyn Clark. Then she's played off of that. Even Caitlyn Clark getting knocked down in that game on Saturday, who's standing up applauding but Angel Reese. So she's sort of embraced a Draymond Green role here.
From the moment they first faced off on the court, the rivalry between Caitlyn and Angel was unmistakable. It wasn't merely about competition, it was personal. Caitlyn, with her precise shooting and exceptional game awareness, made every move appear effortless. Fans admired her not because of her background, but because of her sheer brilliance. In contrast, Angel was always the outspoken, rebellious player, bringing drama both during games and off the court. While Caitlyn let her performance speak for itself, Angel often relied on theatrics. Let's be honest, Caitlyn's statistics alone are enough to silence any critic. She led the NCAA in scoring, averaging an impressive 27.8 points per game. That's not just impressive, it's historic. She became a three-point specialist, sinking shots from distances that left defenders helpless. It wasn't uncommon to see her make a shot from nearly half court, turn to the crowd, and flash her signature smirk. Fans loved it. Opponents, not so much.
Started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, just because of one single game. And just looking at that, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like.
In conclusion, Angel Reese's ongoing rivalry with Caitlyn Clark has become a defining narrative in women's basketball, showcasing both their exceptional talents and the intense competition that fuels the sport. While Caitlyn continues to dominate with her remarkable scoring ability and record-breaking performances, Angel's efforts to challenge her success through dramatic gestures and outspoken commentary highlight the pressures that come with being a top athlete. This dynamic has not only captivated fans, but also sparked important conversations about media portrayal, athlete compensation, and the personal struggles behind public personas. Ultimately, Caitlyn Clark's unwavering focus on her game and her ability to inspire both teammates and fans set her apart as a true leader in the league. Meanwhile, Angel Reese's actions serve as a reminder of the complexities athletes face in balancing personal ambition with professional excellence. As the WNBA progresses, the interactions between stars like Caitlyn and Angel will continue to shape the league's story, driving its growth and emphasizing the importance of resilience, respect, and sportsmanship in achieving lasting success.